Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Market Open live stream. Well, we have inflation data that came in better than expected, or I should say, maybe not better than expected, along the lines of hopes and not as bad as expected. How about that? I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, the market is, at least at the moment, doing okay. Let's go ahead and pull up exactly what we've got going on in the market here and see. We've got about 3.5 minutes to the opening bell. So let's do a quick little run through to see what's going on in the pre-market here. So pre-market, at the same time as Bitcoin has hit new highs, we are seeing Riot and Marathon jump. Bitcoin was over 63,000 here in the morning. Let's take a quick peek to see where it sits now. Let's see. Right now we are at 62,757, just under 63,000 right now. We did have that negative news on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine getting potentially halted or getting halted out of an abundance of caution due to also the potential for blood clots, leading to some of our stay-at-home plays to do at least slightly better today, like Zoom or Open Door and Zillow, which for some reason seem to do well when we have stay-at-home things going on. Arcimoto is actually back in green today, and so is Vuzi. Moderna's up, another reaffirmation here of people loving the mRNA vaccines, which Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is not. We've got Peloton up 2%, Tesla's up 1.5%. We're at 212 right now. Still got some work to do to get to that 750 by the end of the month, which is a goal of Lauren's. We've got Xpeng at 121. AMC's up AMC's up 1.16. Xpeng's up 1.18. Etsy's up a little bit, over 220 again for Etsy. Etsy just keeps moving higher and higher. We've got Lemonade still sitting around $90. Square at a new high again here, 267. Not at all-time highs, but I believe the all-time high was somewhere around 270 something. Let's see here. 283 was the all-time high for Square, and we are making our way back to the all-time high for Square. Canoe's back up today, roughly about 1%. Activision up about 0.75%. GameStop is green today. That's great. Good to see GameStop coming back a little bit here. GameStop at it's 142. Chipotle up fractionally here. Let's go to the losers in the pre-market here. OGI down over 10.8% here, down to $2.40 for OGI. Tilray down 4.65 here. Might buy your course on Robinhood margin. Oh my gosh. Just be careful with margin, okay? I'd rather you be safe than obviously I'd love to have you part of the group, but be safe too. So what else we got here? Sundial's down 2% again. Social Capital, IPOE, down 2.35%. Back to 16.6 here. A lot of folks really like this one when it's or this one had a lot of hype when it was over 20. And has really just been deflating since. You got the airlines down today, Zoms down, XL Fleet down again, down to 726. And this one's going down to oblivion. Although we read that one like a book when I did my video on XL Fleet. I did not like it. All right, let's listen in here. And that was months ago. That was back right before the Jim Cramer pump at $20.
Web services might skip a beat. No! I think that you own this for consumer packaged goods, advertising, and you own it for AWS.
The bell.
You own it because I think that it's going to prove to be a much lower long-term value because of Prime Video. Own Amazon. Don't trade it.
Well, we'll see how it does here at the Belgium as the
pretty red.
The opening trade. You might think there
it's
might
actually
be somebody
more red than green.
AMZ, and there is the opening bell in the NYSE at the Nasdaq. By the way, Jim,
lots of red.
Stanley's got a list of 12 high conviction names this
not
morning.
Seeing that much red
think there's a
on the chart right here. Let's go back to the chart. Not as much, although our chart is not the same board obviously here, but yeah, not seeing as much red as they're seeing, or are we? Let's see here. OGI Domino. This is all in along expectations here from pre-market. We do have, let's see, Sundial just fell a little bit. No, it's actually a green candlestick here. Oh, it fell going into the open there. It went down to about 90 cents. What are the airlines doing? Airlines also got a small little green candle here. Looks like some optimism in the market here. See, OGI is not as bad. See, look at that recovery there. OGI was down like 11%. Okay, good. We're getting lots of green candlesticks here. That's good. Are we getting green over here too? A little mixed on Marathon and Riot. Moderna popping a little bit. That's no surprise with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine getting halted. We got Vuzi up 4.8% again. Can't wait to get those headsets. Bitcoin dropped a little bit here to 62,690. We've yep, here it is. We've got let's see here. What else? Golden Nugget is kind of flat there on the open. Looks like Peloton. Ooh, look at that green candlestick on the Peloton. Very, very, very nice. We bought that. We just recently bought the big dip on Peloton at what was it? $1.03, $103. That was good. I'll take the 20-point gain. That's a nice one. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, let's see. Workhorse actually coming out of the grave again here. 2.65. Etsy green candle sticking off the open. My goodness, DocuSign well over my buy under 200 target again. Back over to this 218 range here. Nano Dimension 1.8. Clever's trying to claw back. We got Xpeng coming back. Redfin 1.5. SOS 1.49. Let's see. Jivo's coming back a bit. C3AI, EXPI also coming. EXPI still under $40 though. Nonsensical lawsuit FUD, just like the short sellers like to do. Chipotle, 0.8% here. Apple, Amazon. So where's Amazon? I see Apple here. Apple, Netflix, Palantir, all these guys. I will be covering the DoubleClick event, which I believe I have on the calendar for tomorrow, the 14th, which is Palantir's event. So as long as I can, we'll see. But I believe that's tomorrow morning. I got to double check. But anyway, so we'll get to the bottom of that. Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, I mean, I'd say overall, things are green candle sticking more than they are red. Yeah, see, even OGI's green candle sticking. Carol's Rest, though, going down here. Naked, Zom. Yeah, Zom's trying to recover. There's Johnson & Johnson. Also, even Johnson & Johnson's trying to green candlestick here. American Airlines also look at the green candles here. So kind of a rebalancing, potentially an overreaction there. Okay. All right, let's take a peek over here. Let's see what CNBC has to say.
Well, Pat Gelsingier's been adamant that Intel's doing much better than people think, and it's not an expensive stock. But look, if Nvidia's coming in after you, if you stay bullish about your own prospects, that's tough because Jensen's been known to destroy a market when he comes in. And you'll see all the gaming stocks fly, by the way, because he was so bullish on gaming that you just have to believe. Carl, people are gaming like mad, even if the economy opens. NVIDIA goes higher.
Yep. Cowen today goes to 675. Wells goes to 715. Jim, you talked about gaming. Obviously, data centers a huge story over there. And then Jensen did talk about the car industry, too. Take a listen.
The car industry has become a technology industry. Future cars are going to be completely programmable.
There's Canoe.
And business models are going to be software driven. Car companies will offer software services.
Notice not Tesla.
The new tech mindset sees the car not just as a product to sell, but as an install base of tens or hundreds of millions to build upon, creating billions in services opportunities.
So, Jim, we have that. And then we have Gelsinger himself at Intel talking about the degree to which Intel might help out the auto industry within 6 to 9 months, he said.
You better hurry up. Take a look at this, folks. Tesla on a tear right now. Tesla hitting 720. Look at some of our faves right here. 720 on Tesla. Etsy, 224. My goodness. Peloton, 123. Bitcoin's still stuck there at that 62.6 number as inflation doesn't come in as high as expected. Riot and Marathon pulling back a little bit as well. But Voozy back on a run. Back on the Voozy run. All right, let's take a quick peek here and see what Bloomberg's got to say. Let's see. Oh, looks like I'm going to have to refresh. Okay, fine then. Fine. We'll go over here then. We won't go to Bloomberg.
Their chips are really an afterthought for the big makers. And the Chinese didn't regard us an afterthought. There is not enough talk about how the Chinese took everything they need. And by the way, this is
all right. Let's jump on over for a moment. Look at that Tesla 722. Nice.
Among the 5 big tech companies,
Yes.
and maybe it should be.
It should be
$600 a share as we speak. Now, what about DraftKings? I'm pretty sure they're up this morning because I believe, they're up. Not much, but they're up. They got some good news on sports betting. What is it?
Yeah. Also, I want to note that Axios reporting this morning, very interesting, that DraftKings held potential deal talks with the Action Network, which is a sports betting platform that analyzes odds, games, etc. So there's good synergies between the two. Also, Arizona and Maryland announcing that they were legalizing sports betting. So New York officially approved online sports betting earlier this month. So that takes a number of U.S. states that have now legalized online sports betting to roughly 26. And that is good news for a company like DraftKings and the other online sports bettors. But DraftKings, the stock has really come off, Stu. We're down 20% from recent peaks in a bear market. So, they're looking for some sort of catalyst to maybe drive the stock higher.
Okay, got that. Thanks very much indeed. By the way, the Dow's taken a turn to the Southlands. Now it's down about 150 points, 33,597. Take a look at this, the latest op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. The Buttigieg infrastructure switcheroo. His definition of the term is not what the American people think it means. Bill McGurn wrote that. He's going to explain it at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. JP Morgan says America's reopening on July the 4th. I think many parts of the country are already wide open. We'll discuss that. And we'll talk with Larry Kudlow. He's going to join us very shortly.
Well, they got Larry Kudlow. He's got his own show. Of course, they got Larry Kudlow. What is this? I'm gonna steal their thunder here. We're gonna look at that really quick. That Buttigieg switcheroo here. What is this? Republican lawmakers seek a $2 trillion infrastructure bill. Joe Biden pushed back on the idea that the meeting was no more than bipartisan window dressing. Oh, this is just complaining about bipartisanship, huh? Yeah. Okay. All right. We're gonna go back to the sticks, or do we have Bloomberg up? Hold on, let's see if we got Bloomberg up. So if we can listen to this, a little bit of Bloomberg TV, that'd be good. Yep, here we go. Because we're actually talking about inflation. Imagine this, we're talking about finance.
2020 was a definitive moment, and it marked the moment where we had the lowest rates and the lowest inflation expectations. To us, going forward from now to the rest of the decade as well, the secular trend is for higher rates and higher inflation expectations. And that necessitates a switch in your asset allocation strategy. That means value over growth, for instance. So in this case, I would very much agree with him.
Just want to finish on higher rates and the potential for that, Michael. Your view on that? We have started to see things stabilize. I mentioned earlier that small caps, that rally had really stalled out middle of March, copper end of February, crude start of March. Seen the same thing really in treasuries as well. Yields topped out at the end of March in and around 170 odd. Right now, do you see that demand, that stability? Do you see the demand actually supporting some stability coming through the rest of this year, Michael?
Yeah, I think to your point, the rate move and the move in the Russell 2000 are heavily related. And so in our view, a lot has already been repriced in the Treasury market. So at the beginning of the year, Treasury market was expecting at the end of 2021 that the 10-year Treasury would be 1.1%. And here we are at 1.65 or so. And the market's pricing in about 1.9 by the end of the year. That's a pretty big shift. At the same time, Fed funds liftoff at the beginning of the year was priced sometime in 2024. Now it's at the end of 2022. So a lot has already moved and a lot has been repriced. And I also think if you went back roughly 4 to 6 weeks ago, everybody and their brother was short treasuries. Everybody was talking about that. So I think
he's got a really good point. I mean, what he's saying here is that basically the market's already priced in the fact that we think interest rates might go up towards the end of 2022. That and the other gentleman was talking about how, hey, maybe the stock market had its big repricing. Maybe that's what it was between the middle of February and the end of March. Everything got repriced to build in potential inflation. everything got repriced in, maybe a little bit scarier than expected. And so what do we have now? Well, now maybe we're seeing a little bit of a recovery again. I mean, look at this. Tesla's up 3.1% again today here. It's at 724. Open Doors back over $20. Etsy 224. Look at Square moving again. Let's go. Love this. Peloton, geez, man, 4.45% here. Unity's coming back. Unity was in the grave for the longest time there. I mean, it was, it went down to like the 80s. Look at that W. Ooh, very wide W here, huh? Jeez. But yeah, Unity definitely got smacked since it is still above IPO, though, unlike C3AI and Affirm, which were both under IPO pricing. So, geez, I mean, not a bad argument. Let's go continue to listen to those folks. They're not bad.
Meet the president's goal of 200 million shots by his 100th day in office. That perspective really important. And that was the knee-jerk reaction of this market as well off the back of that headline, that this wasn't Pfizer, it wasn't Moderna. And in the White House's assessment in the last couple of hours, they believe, based on the availability of supply of both Moderna and Pfizer, they can still reach their goal. That's important. Let's turn now to the market desk and get you some movers. Here's Abigail.
Well, John, picking up on that story, not surprisingly, we still have the shares of J&J lower after their vaccine has been paused, but we have Moderna and Pfizer popping sharply higher on the idea that those two companies will meet the demand and supply around.
Look at Moderna kick butt. By the way, on Moderna, I've really been waiting for like all this vaccine news to go away so that I could buy Moderna and Pfizer once all the vaccine traders are out of it. So once the vaccine traders are out of it and people are like, okay, those companies are over, I want to bet on those companies for mRNA tech. I am so jazzed about that.
And their mRNA vaccinations to really benefit from this situation in a way. If we turn to not travel and leisure, because we've taken a look at those stocks, there has been a pause, but restaurants and shopping.
Well, thanks, Terry. I want to just say, it's tough. It's tough to buy the dip, especially when it keeps dipping, especially when you see all the comments that, it always feels like red and bleeding and losing money. And the big thing to always just keep in mind is, hey, we don't need the money tomorrow. We don't need the money in a week. We're investing for the long run. Talk to me in 10 years. Do we think these stocks are going to, what's going to be higher in 10 years, Walmart or Tesla? And that's not a diss on Walmart. Don't get me wrong. I think Walmart has a very good place in people's portfolios as a balance, but I appreciate you saying that. And thank you for donating $5 to say that. So thank you for that. So, all right, let's jump on over to CNBC. They're kind of done with that report over there on Bloomberg. And then I want to go to the Bloomberg terminal here as well in just a moment. See what the news is.
What everyone's talking about on the trading desk, boy, it's still about that crypto. And I cannot believe the impact people think Coinbase is going to have. Let me just show you this valuation estimates. I've been trying to get my hands around the valuation of this. Nobody seems to get it. I've seen 50 billion, 100 billion, $200 billion valuation. We got a pre-IPO price of $343 floating around, 196 million shares. That's 67 million. NKM is using that. That seems like a good number right now. But think about this. NASDAQ's valued at 25 billion. The NYSE and ICE, the whole ecosystem that the ICE has, is 68 billion. Is the market saying that the Coinbase valuation is worth as much as ICE and the NYSE? It seems to be. That's kind of remarkable. What you're going to see here is enormous amounts of buying, because this is going to create a whole new group of people that are going to want to get into the whole crypto asset base. So you're going to see big ETF buyers out there, certainly the IPO ETF, Kathy Wood's ARK FinTech ETF, as well as some of the other ones that are out there. Guys, there's also the Bitcoin ETF floating out there. And I think with a new SEC commissioner, there's going to be a new impetus behind that as well. Guys, back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks for that. Yeah, everybody's on the lookout for that, Bob Pisani. Let's get to Rick Santelli on what was an important day for consumer inflation. Hey, Rick.
Hello, Carl. And indeed, we could all just pass off inflation. Yes, the year-over-year numbers, which is what many were expecting would be a little hotter, really weren't. But that doesn't mean the numbers weren't warm. If you look at the headline up 0.6, you have to go all the way back to June of 2009 to find a larger number month
All
over
right, we already covered inflation, so we're going to back off this report here. I do want to look at the 10-year Treasury. Let's take a look and see how this reacted this morning. So let's take a peek here, and then we'll go to top news. So let's go down to the 3-day. Whoa, look at the plummet. A plummet. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That is really good. So where was our release? There it is, right here. Right here where my mouse is where the release is. And you got a plummet. Oh, wait a minute. And a plummet again. Yes, that's really, really good. That's definitely going to help chill the bond markets, yield, the yields out a little bit, pricing out a little bit in the bond market. Let's go look at the 5 here really quick. This is the 5-year. Sometimes stocks are a little more sensitive to the 5. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That same kind of plummet. Still obviously higher than where we've been in the last 6 months. Let's go out to the 1 month and just look at sort of the range that we've had at the 1 month. So here's the 1 month. You can kind of see just the madness of this up and down. Let's go to 6 month just for a little bit more context. There we go. So you can really see it's this jolt really from here, Feb 16 to about right here, this 3/8 section here. That's where you had a lot of pain. In fact, take a look at this. If we just draw a slope of the line, oh my gosh, that gives me fears of school again. The slope of the line. See, look how steep the slope is over here. Really between February 16th and around the end of the first week of March. But then if we do the same thing from really, that same point here to where we are now, look at how flat that line is. I mean, we're really just not we're not seeing that insanity anymore. This was the shock right here. This was the shock that hurt the market. But now if you look over the last month here, nothing. It's completely flat. I mean, what is that? A slope of 0? This was going to the moon. This was like a slope of a lot. Whereas this is much better. And even here, if we just go look at if we even go a little bit more recent here, look at this. This is almost a downtrend over here over the last about a month, 3 weeks here. If we take from there, obviously it depends on where we put our little pin here. But even if we try to make it go positive, it's nowhere near the slope that we've seen over here. So this is very, very, very good. Let's go take a peek at top news, and the inflation reading today really helped with that too. Remember, this data took into account at least some of the stimulus checks as well. America's toilet paper handing starts to boomerang on industry. This is hoarding. Let's see here. Pause in Johnson & Johnson. New York City real estate mogul secures $6 billion in gold from new crypto. New crypto. Interesting. What is this, like a gold-backed crypto? Kent Swig has secured a minimum of $6 billion in gold reserves to back his new cryptocurrency. Whoa. The value of the digital token DIG AU will be pegged at the market price of the precious metal. So why not just buy gold? Gold was one of the original rock bearing. Okay, cool. $6 billion in gold. That's cool. Hey, can you let us know where that vault is? There goes your backing. Anyway, let's see. Lumber frenzy drives up home prices as suppliers can't keep pace. Yep. That's very much what we're seeing. I really think this this wedge in or the K. Not, I don't want to say K-shape. The wealth gap is going to continue to accelerate. I think substantially. And I really think if people haven't been getting into real estate or even trying to get into real estate now, getting into real estate in the future is going to be near impossible. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, housing pricing is just going to keep skyrocketing. In fact, let me pull this up because in fairness, a course member posted a very good thesis here in Discord. I want to show it here. Just shout out to them. So let's see, meet Kevin on a housing, and then I want to look at that housing, and we got to go back to the sticks too. So give that 1 second here. All right, here it is. So take a peek at this. This is a pretty good argument here. Mm-hmm. Look at this. So I'm going to just summarize this really quick. The average household income was is 87,864. Average home price right now is 364. 20% down would require about $70,000, and you'd need an income of $77,000 to qualify. So he's making the argument essentially here that it's becoming increasingly unaffordable to buy a house. But sort of my thought over here is, and this is my belief, is that rents over time will grow slower. The 1% rule for renting real estate will evaporate. Maybe I'll do a more detailed video explaining this. And prices may slowly drift higher, creating a renter nation with landlords accepting of low to no cash flow to park their money. I really think that's a very real possibility. Is that real estate prices won't be restrained by rents. A lot of folks do believe that real estate prices will be held back by rents. I don't believe that. We'll see. We will see, though. We are being priced out, Kevin. How are we going to afford a house with these prices? I know. That's what I'm saying. First-time home buyers. I mean, you got to get in with 3.5%, 5% down as soon as possible. And let's see here. Schiff is flipping out. Is Peter Schiff flipping out? I don't know. Let's look at the sticks here for a moment. And then I did want to see what that article was, but oh well, we'll come back to it. CrowdStrike, good movement here, 4.2%. After we have obviously J-Pow mentioned that one of the biggest things to be concerned about is cyber risk. CrowdStrike moving today. Yeah, Tesla at 725, trying to get back to our W-shaped recovery over here. We got Square up 3%. Let's go. Look at that. Really, really nice movement in Square. Solid movement in Tesla, although it's flattening a little bit. Peloton was a little higher and softened a bit here. Etsy, about 3%, also flattening a little bit here. So a little bit of a flattening there. NVIDIA up again. Great job. Great company. C3 AI, 1.41%. What else here? Amazon, Palantir, Redfin, EXPI. EXPI barely moving there. Riot. Okay, good. So what else here? Riot and Marathon. Xpeng coming up nicely. Good 5% here on Xpeng. And what else do we have here? On the loss side of things, we got a lot of recoveries. Look at these. We got Macy's. See, this is what we talked about. It's really that rotation back. What's this? Kevin, have you tried to buy furniture or cabinets recently? Being told you have to wait till July for couches and home needs is a joke. Everything, even buying American, you're out months. Yeah, supply chains are just destroyed. And you know how they could easily, and this is actually a perfect example. You know how they could easily eliminate those delays? Raise prices. If they just raise prices of refrigerators $500 or couches $500, there probably wouldn't be as many delays because people would prefer to wait for prices to come back down, and the people who can afford it will buy them. That's classic capitalism, right? But instead, our markets are so competitive that companies are not raising prices. They're preferring to tell people you got to wait until July. It's a riot. You would think that would drive prices up. And in many places, it's just not. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, you custom order anything right now, and it's a big mistake. And this is something that I teach in the real estate investing course and the do-it-yourself property management and rental renovations courses. Don't special order crap. You literally get stuck waiting all the time. It's terrible. Yeah, Canoe's got a little bit of a sell-off here. 8.8 in terms of dollars. But yeah, momentum. Oh, look, GameStop went negative again. We had a moment of green there, but went negative again, 4.5%. CTRM's down again. XL Fleet. Oh my gosh, it's going to be under $7 here soon. Matterport's right there at my buy target. I did buy more yesterday. Let's see here. What's going on here? JP Morgan's down a couple percent. Still at a great level. TTCF down a couple percent. Enphase, where'd it go? I just saw there it is. Enphase down 2%, 148. Mind Medicine down 1.45. Let's look at the day chart here. Kind of been relaxing a little bit, this chart, trading a little bit sideways here this last month and a bit. What else do we have? Airbnb. Oh, Airbnb's come down nicely. Kind of a nice sort of flattening here and a reduction. Create some new opportunities to get in. Airbnb was largely immune to that March and February sell-off, but maybe now it's finally starting to sell off a little bit. Redfin almost up 1%. Ubiquity back at 178. Not quite yet at that at that 175. Tesla or 275. Tesla's selling back down a little bit, down to 723. A little bit of a red candlestick here. Voyager Digital up again on that on the excitement of probably Coinbase coming out tomorrow. Expecting Coinbase to be madness tomorrow. Let's take a quick peek here, since a few of you have mentioned this in the comments. Let's see what's Peter Schiff complaining about. Let's see here. Schiff. By the way, keep in mind, in 1 hour we will be interviewing. Oh gosh, Microvision 1295. Wow. In 1 hour we will be interviewing Kevin O'Leary. So if you're in the course, you have questions, there is a section in Discord for you to ask questions, which I'll prioritize to those. But let's see here. So we got Mr. Peter Schiff. All right. According to Jacob Bass, the U.S. gives China dollars. Kyle has it backwards. China gives the U.S. valuable consumer goods that our economy lacks the capacity to produce. All the Chinese get in exchange for their efforts and resources are dollars, which the U.S. creates for free. So anti-dollar. I love it. You got to appreciate the enthusiasm. It's great. Let's see. Jerome Powell making promises the Fed can't keep. Okay, well, I mean, nothing really new here. All right, so let's go back to where we were here. Okay, so frenzy sweeping the lumber market will likely keep going through the summer peak of home building as labor shortages and depleted inventories mean that supplies can't keep up with skyrocketing demand. Yeah, no surprise. Tightness is acute across the entire timber supply chains. Sawmills have had trouble ramping up fast enough to meet a surge in demand. Meanwhile, trucking delays and worker shortages at lumber yards have added to costs. Lumber futures have soared more than 60% to record highs this year. Analysts aren't expecting any relief until late 2021. Wow. That will keep pouring fuel on red-hot home prices, making home ownership less affordable to a large swath of the population. Wow, soaring lumber costs have already added $24,000 to the average price of a home, to a new construction home. Really, really incredible. I mean, yeah, look at the slope of the line here. Ugh. Oh my gosh, lumber price is just getting destroyed. I mean, skyrocketing, but destroyed for anybody who's wanting to buy. Yeah. All right, let's pop around. Let's see what's going on. So, what do we got over at the Varns? What's Varns got to say? Oh, a TV commercial. Okay, of course. All right, in that case, let's go to Bloomberg. Bloomberg is also on commercial. They're all on commercial. All of them. All of them. This tells you how much houses are rising in my area. All right, let's talk about this for a second while we wait for these guys to come off commercial. Boring. All right, so what do we got here? I put an offer on a house which was 8% over comps and market, only 5K under asking. Thought the appraisal would come in under. Nope, it was over. Wow, the appraisal was even coming in high. That's incredible. Yeah, usually the appraisals they can lag. And this is one of the reasons sometimes sellers prefer cash offers, is because appraisals can lag the market and make it harder for prices to go up. But that's incredible. Your appraiser came in high. Yeah, good for you. Well, congratulations to you. Happy for you. 3D printed houses. Yeah, well, one day. One day that'll be very, very mainstream, I believe. And then that'll get you away from those lumber prices too, right? Which is great. So what's, let's see, CCIV. CCIV is down 1%. Ugh, down in the 21 range now. And Canoe's at 873. All right, let's listen into CNBC here.
Getting a bit of a hit here this morning as U.S. regulators recommend a pause in the J&J vaccine. We're going to take you to the briefing in a few minutes. But in the meantime, you can see it's weighing primarily on the Dow as the banks and some travel names, Morgan, do get dinged.
Okay, let's jump on over here.
Shots that had been administered. Then we wound up learning that Europe, it's going to pause its vaccine rollout in Europe as well.
Everyone is talking about the vaccine. Everyone.
Be some like Goldilocks feeling out there, and then you see now the S&P mini is coming back to neutral. So that dip really what the market was focusing on. We'll get more on that in just a moment. Also, let's switch up the board and see what else is happening. We get a 30-year bond auction later today. We got the 10 and the 3-year. Yesterday was kind of It happened, but it wasn't that big of a deal. J&J stock, though, was hit quite significantly, now just down by about 2 percentage points. What this does do is hurt the airline and travel sector. You can see that with the airlines off by about 4 percentage points. The dollar also mixed on the day, now a little bit weaker. And I mentioned yields seeing a touch of buying come in as that news came out. So we want to delve into a little bit more what we know, what we don't know, as we're waiting for a presser here on that J&J. Drew Armstrong, Bloomberg senior healthcare editor, joins us now. Drew, what's the broader takeaway from this so far?
It's bad. Okay, let's jump on over here. Let's go back to CNBC.
FDA briefing to begin.
They're all talking about it. Everybody's just talking about the vaccine. All right. We'll go to the sticks then in a moment here. So what do we got here? We've got real estate.
6 out of 10 homes, 59%, went under contract within 2 weeks of going on the market. 4 out of 10 homes, 42%, sold above the asking price. Bidding wars are breaking out. And that median asking price has hit a new all-time high, breaking all the records, $353,000. Everyone is reminded of the real estate boom 15 years ago that ended in disaster. Are we in for the same thing this time around? My opinion, no. Back then, the housing boom was based on bad loans, often called liar loans. This boom is a different beast. For a start, there are no more liar loans. These days, you jump through hoops to prove you can repay the loan. This boom is based on the trillions being pumped into the economy, and it's based on the people wanting to move after the lockdown. Prices are going up so rapidly because supply cannot keep up with demand, and that is the problem, supply. You don't put your house up for sale because you're not sure you can afford another one. Supply remains limited and prices keep rising. So I ask again, does housing crash again? I think not. The river of money will keep flowing. Work from home will keep demand strong. And super tight mortgage rules will keep borrowers in line. Eventually, the market will pause. Eventually, home sales will level off. Eventually, prices might come down a little. Look, I'm out on a limb here. I can see a very sharp pullback for stocks, for cryptos, and certainly for digital art. But the post-pandemic real estate market seems much more solid, at least to me.
Wow. He just basically said cryptos and NFTs are more likely to crash than housing. Ooh. I mean, honestly, that was probably one of the best pieces that they've done on this show in a very long time. Usually we're talking about the border wall and okay, this guy, what? This guy's wearing a cow outfit. What is this?
What says the voice of reason, Scott Shellady?
Well, you know, Stuart, you're exactly right. And the biggest reason, and the only reason is that even if you have a great job and you've got a great credit score, the banks have made it so difficult to lend money, and they've clamped down so much that the buyers are well and truly real buyers, number one. And number two, Stuart, a lot of those deals that you were mentioning from Redfin, a lot of that stuff's done now just with cash. So we've got a lot of cash transactions. The banks have cracked down. That's so much different than you call them liar loans, or we call them no-doc loans, where people didn't have to show proof of anything and they could buy 5 or 6 houses. So yeah, that's why you're exactly right. It's so difficult to refi, even if you've got a great credit score. It's hard to get a mortgage, even if you've got a great credit score. A lot of these things are being done in cash, and that means the market's a lot healthier than it was 15 years ago for sure.
How about the other assets which have seen a big spike, notably Bitcoin? I mean, today it hit $63,000 in advance of Coinbase's trading debut tomorrow. Look, I know we've talked about this before, Scott.
So I just want to finish my thought there on that. I have to say, I did think that was actually that guy's the voice of reason. Okay, yeah, wow. Oh man, all right. I'm not going to say anything. So yeah. I don't know. I I kind of believe that real estate market is very, very stable. The big thing that's going to be a big negative to the real estate market is going to be rates going up. And honestly, today's inflation data kind of makes people go, oh, okay, well, that's not as bad. I mean, hopefully it stays that course. I mean, I know a lot of people don't believe the CPI, which is fine, but it's definitely going to be one of the big things that the Fed looks at, and they're going to be the ones, well, they are the ones in control of the Fed funds rate, so we'll have to see. All right, let's jump on over to the sticks again. Let's see how the sticks are moving here. Oh, my goodness, look at this. Tesla, folks. Tesla. Here we go. Now we need the To the Moon t-shirt. If you weren't in the laundry, I'd be wearing it right now. So we've got we are at 727 right now on Tesla. Bitcoin at 62.6. CrowdStrike moving up nicely here. Moderna's really kicking butt. DocuSign, great stock as well, also moving nicely here. Very nice. All right, what else do we have here? Zoom. Zoom's so off highs. It's crazy, but still doing well here. Peloton kind of selling off a little bit intraday. It's still up 2.2% or 2.4%, but yeah, definitely selling down a little bit here. Twitter's up at $72 again. My goodness, what's selling down here? Oh yeah, all of the recovery, folks. Look at this. Nordstrom's straight down. You've got Macy's straight down here. I mean, this is really that rotation. This is what we talked about. CDC having a press conference. I mean, do we really care? Like, I know maybe that sounds horrible, but you know, what are they going to say? We're going to look into it. Nobody was really hurt. You know, there were some isolated instances of badness, and we're looking into them. See, there's your CDC briefing for you. That's I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded. Okay, like I don't know what to expect out of that. But anyway, yeah, this is really that rotation of you know, from again, from recovery stocks to tech. And sure, it's very likely spawned by this Johnson & Johnson crisis for them, but also, you know, it immediately leads people to go into the ones that had previously sold off, like tech. So not a shocking surprise. So Tesla, yeah, 3.6 right here. Xpeng's doing exceptionally well as well. As well? Is that a way to say it? I don't know. All right, let's hop in over here. Let's see what Bloomberg is talking about. Still talking about the vaccine. Let's listen in for a moment.
Right now, these events appear to be extremely rare. That said, COVID-19 vaccine safety is a top priority for federal government, and we take all reports of adverse events following vaccination very seriously. Healthcare providers who see people presenting to them with either a low blood platelet count or blood clots should establish whether or not the individual has recently been vaccinated in order to...
All right. Not so exciting. It's kind of as we expected. It's like literally as we expected. So, all right, let them do their press briefing or whatever they're doing. No problemo. We'll get the bottom line later. So, for now, let's see what other opportunities are there. So look, Whirlpool's even down today. We got Whirlpool down 1.39%. A little bit of heat on. It's so hard to get appliances these days. There's no way that's not going to weigh on their earnings. We'll see. But these delays, oftentimes we think, oh, it's going to be good for pricing. I don't know. Macy's, Express, Bed Bath. Gosh, a lot of big old sell-offs over here. Upstart, look at that. Upstart's down 4.9% right here. It's almost under 100. That's kind of what we've been waiting for. Let's see. Oh, darn. Hold on a sec. I got unplugged. I will replug in here, but that's all right. So, yeah, Upstart's almost under 100, which is kind of a number that I'm really waiting for. Got XL Fleet. Oh, almost under $7. There we go. Ouch. But ouch on some of these recoveries. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's look on the day chart here. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond's really been trading sideways around here, bobbing up and down. Express, same thing. Macy's had a nice run here in the middle of March, but way down right now. Well, maybe not way. I mean, it's down a good chunk. It's obviously up from what we saw in or last year. I mean, a lot of these things are way up from the election, which is really incredible. I mean, really, really nice moves here since the election. Just sort of a more recent downside here, very likely almost solely because of the vaccine. I am surprised, though, that Matterport kind of chugs down like this. Creates a nice buying opportunity for me. This one, some merger happens when we get out of a SPAC land. Woo! That's going to be nice. SPACs across the board are just getting spanked. And it's just something important to know. If you are in a SPAC or even a company that had merged already, that is, the merger is complete, you're probably likely to continue to see pain for a while until we get other stocks moving up again. And eventually these SPACs, people will rotate back into the SPACs. It's kind of like we rotate into recovery. Recovery goes up, tech sells off, SPAC sell off. Recovery and banking goes up, and then all of a sudden we get this Johnson & Johnson news. Okay, people move back into tech. Tech moves up again, and maybe Tesla moves up with it. Then eventually, as these two bob up, recovery and tech, it wouldn't shock me to see the SPACs return as a separate recovery. We almost end up seeing SPACs move as their own basket of stocks in the future. We'll see. We'll see. But taking a look at what's potentially still inexpensive, let's do that. We haven't done that in a bit. So let's just, instead of looking at the percent that things are up or down right now, let's take a look at some things that still feel oversold solely based on the price of where they are and based on kind of where we remember things being. So let's just sort alphabetically here. Let's go through the list here. So AMC at $8. I mean, if it weren't for the Wall Street bets and sort of the momentum trading, I'd have to say AMC, I would feel like it feels a little expensive. I mean, and that's only because I remember it sitting in the 2s and the 4s and maybe like 5 for the longest time, because that's where I used to swing trade it. Last April and March, I did a lot of swing trading on AMC. It was fun. Did some option swing trading. It was very profitable then. All right, what else do we have? So Amazon 3,400, Google at 2,200. Not a particular bargain here. I would keep an eye on Airbnb, especially if we maybe start trending under 170, because we haven't been there yet. Affirm, very low. We go to the day chart here. It's substantially under its IPO price. We still have not had a reversal in the Affirm pricing. AT&T under 30 again, and no surprise at all here. We've got, let's see, what else looks like it could be cheap? Apple at 133. I mean, it's almost like there was no correction. For Apple, literally feels like there was no correction. Starting February 19th to the middle of March, nothing for Apple, basically. 133, I mean, sure, it ran up to 140 and a bit at one point, but pretty well priced, I'd say, right now. Beyond Meat at 132, it's okay. I still get a little, particular, and I want to buy that thing for 120. Otherwise, I kind of stay away from it. But I think that's just sometimes me being a little fussy about it. We've got Bitcoin almost back up to 63,000. It's not at a level where I would buy Bitcoin, with the exception of the little tiny experiment that we did yesterday. But it's not at a level where I would actively buy Bitcoin. Certainly, I'd love to wait for some form of a sell-off and buy that cheaper. C3AI is another one that's just gotten destroyed in terms of pricing. Absolutely wrecked. Let's see, Clever. I think Clever at 1142 is pretty cheap. It's not as cheap as it once was, but in the $8 to $9 range. But it's pretty dang inexpensive. Cloudflare, the net. This one, if Fastly was around this price, that would be nice. Fastly around 70, but I don't think we're going to see that. Canoe, a little bit more of a spec stock, right? $8, $8.57 where it is. It's a company I'm hopeful for, but it's not a company that I go massively heavy in. I think we've got 5K shares, which is somewhere around 45K. it's not something that I'm really going to have more money in. So as a part of my portfolio, it's small. It's obviously it's less than, I think it's less than 1/4%. So we've got Carnival. Carnival Cruise Lines at 27. I mean, great. Wouldn't necessarily be jumping up and down about buying it at these levels. See, look at ChargePoint though. ChargePoint's done some nice selling off here. Certainly it's SPAC'd around $10, and it's run a good amount from its SPAC time. But now we're past SPAC, and there is a lot of hope for that Biden infrastructure plan. Although the more doubt that gets passed on the infrastructure plans, the less people seem to be interested in the charging companies. So that is something to consider as well. Chipotle at 1,500. My goodness, I can't do that. Let's see here. All right, we'll see it. We'll look at some of the other ones here. What else? Costco 366. Not particularly a bargain there either. What else do we have here? Dave & Buster's $42. My goodness, I remember buying that thing at $13. $13, $18. And we're like, this will probably double or triple once things get back to normal, as long as they don't go bankrupt. Yup, that's what happened. It's pretty incredible. So CRISPR, how's CRISPR been? So CRISPR's also kind of been selling down a chunk here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, CRISPR, not as low as it once was, but certainly has had a solid decline here. All right, moving on. DocuSign 225, a little too pricey for me to jump on it. Dropbox too pricey here. Domino's at 400. That's kind of where it's been. EXPI is cheap at 39 or 38, I believe. Enphase pretty inexpensive at 148. These are relatively higher than when they're, or Enphase at least, than where it has been, at points last year. But I think that's almost true for all stocks these days. All right, what else here? Facebook 313, pricey for me. Fisker 1440. My gosh, that feels inexpensive. Look at that. It is breaking this support shelf that we've had here. Look at this. You've basically got a support shelf here somewhere at 1489, and it's down to 1422. Really, I think you've got a lot of the auto manufacturers selling off in the face of maybe people just thinking, look, it's Tesla or bust. We'll see. I don't want to go 100% in on Tesla, but Tesla's obviously one of our faves. 1309 for Matterport, big old cheapie there. Let's see, GameStop as part of a momentum play. You'd have to be interested in doing the momentum play. Gap 31, Gevo 7. I don't know. Gevo, I also think, is ahead of its time. Ahead of its time, probably by about 10 years. Let's see. Golden Nugget, GNOG. I don't have a relative estimate for GNOG, so we could really only kind of look at what has been happening, and it certainly has sold off some of its enthusiasm. But I'm not too well versed in the iGaming space. Let's see. Home Depot 319. My goodness. Look at this Home Depot run. This is incredible. It's every single day, basically. It's been up. I'll sort of, at least on the average candlesticks here. Goodness gracious. Hyliion under 10, another stock I did not like. People got so mad at me when I was, there were two stocks I was anti in the last 3 to 4 months. It was Hyliion and it was XL Fleet. Hyliion was like $18 when I made the video. XL Fleet was like $19 or $20 when I made my video. I got so much hate for suggesting that the break-even costs just do not make sense for hybridization and trucking. And they're both down about 50% right now. I mean, hey, hopefully they turn around, but I'm just not enthusiastic about hybridization. It's either go hydrogen or go all electric. Really, Nikola, aside from ending up being a fraud, they had the real potential to Trojan horse the hydrogen market with that Badger truck where you get a battery truck and hydrogen. Man, I remember those Nikola days. Covering Nikola. The madness. The insanity. Now you don't even hear about him anymore. MP Materials, Lyft. Yeah, I wouldn't touch Lyft or Uber. Macy's, $16. Marathon. Marathon's been doing very well. Obviously, it kind of relates to the Bitcoin pricing. I think that's a good sort of tell for potentially what we'll see with Coinbase. Though there's going to be an insane amount of enthusiasm and potentially even euphoria around Coinbase. Look at NEO though. NEO really struggling at 38. Again, it's really like all of the other auto manufacturers. Every other auto manufacturer is getting blindly. Everything is getting destroyed. So somebody says Arrival 1380 with a 10K pre-order from UPS. The pre-orders don't mean anything. That's the problem. The market does not care about pre-orders. The market cares about real orders. Real orders and specifically reorders. Reorders matter 10x what pre-orders do. Reorders, that's where the money is. Ooh, Nano Dimension sold off nicely as well. Nano Dimension is another one of those. I made a video about it about 6. Really like them. Really like Nano Dimension. But the problem with Nano Dimension is it could potentially be momentum driven. You've got a lot of weight coming in from ARK. You have a product that is very difficult to sell for mass production purposes. It's really designed more for like one-offs and research purposes for schools, colleges, the military, maybe certain industries. Watch my video on Nano Dimension. It's very, very detailed. And it also talks about the potential for printed chipsets like Nano Dimension does. Really great concepts. The guy really wants to sell out of the company, though, the owner. Or not the owner, the CEO. He wants to dump it. So, not in a negative way. He wants to rebuild it and bring it back and then sell it. But he does want to sell it. Pinterest at 83 is too expensive. Palantir at 23, I'll take it. It's been obviously trading sideways here for a couple months now. But I'll take Palantir at 23, no problem. Gladly take it. 273 is okay over here at Palantir. I don't mind this. And we've really done very, very well over the last 2 weeks here. But I don't mind PayPal at these levels. Not jumping up and down about grabbing it. Peloton 122. I'm not enthused about adding at these levels. You get to 100, 105. I like that in terms of a buy position a lot. Plug Power. Oh, man. $28. Oh, when this was at 75, I have my video from January going, this could see a QuantumScape style sell-off, which QuantumScape saw it too. They both saw it. Look at this. Except it happened at Plug Power later. By the way, if you want to do fundamental analysis the way I do, I don't just teach you, I don't just tell you like, oh, buy this or buy that in my Stocks and Psychology Money group. The whole purpose of the course is to teach you how to fundamentally think about what actually matters to companies in Wall Street and what to look for when you're doing fundamental analysis. The last 20% of the course, I'd probably say 15% of the course is still in development. And they keep adding things to it. Like now we're adding options and soon we'll have TA coming in. Obviously, you get all that for free. But check it out if you haven't considered it yet. The link to the program is obviously down below. But let's keep going with what we were thinking here. So yeah, Plug, I made a video at $75 going, this could have a QuantumScape style sell-off. And it was because of my fundamental analysis. This was QuantumScape. Ran up to 135, sold off to 45. Substantial sell-off. I mean, you're talking 60 to 70% sell-off here. Plug Power. I make my video at 70. I made my video over here around like Jan 14th or something like that. Traded sideways. Boom. There's that sell-off. Some of the things were just were too obvious. Yeah, but hey, yeah, that's not to say they're bad companies. They're both way ahead of their time. Compared to XL Fleet and Hyliion, I prefer QuantumScape and Plug, but they're both way too ahead of their time for me to be buying them. Look at Roblox. Roblox finally nicely moving to new highs here over IPO pricing. Did fall below IPO pricing there for a moment. Now above IPO pricing substantially again here, $76. Yeah, Sundial 92 cents. Ouch. SOS 480. Rocket. Yeah, Rocket. As long as the market believes that higher inflation is coming, and as long as the market believes that interest rates are going up, Rocket Mortgage is going to suffer. It's just going to be sort of the and I've been a stepchild, so I hate to use that phrase, but it's kind of the stepchild of the market, is the way it feels like it gets traded. So I personally get that. So 112 Simon Property Group, very pricey relative to for being a mall REIT. I mean, I remember back when we were buying this thing for $49. We're like, just hold, it'll come back. Gosh, I remember those rough times. We'd buy it at like 55 and it'd go to 49. It's like, oh, buy more. Don't worry, it'll come back. It can't be this low. Now it's at 112. It's funny, just the psychology of the stock market. It can feel really painful and really makes you want to sell sometimes. Tesla, 728. It's over. I mean, look, I'm okay with Tesla under 8. I'd really prefer it under 7. So I did a big chunk of buying under 7, suspecting this might go over 7. I don't really want to buy it anymore right now. I'm over concentrated. I will pause. So let's see here. What else? Staying a little bit away from the food companies right now, especially the freezer food companies. Personally, I just think you've got a trend away from freezer foods. After this pandemic, I think a lot of people who don't like cooking were living off almost just solely high sodium, high ingredient list, frozen foods. And I think there's gonna be a big transition away from that towards, gosh, I'm gonna go back out there and eat at my local burrito place. I actually, that just got me really hungry for a burrito. Gosh, a breakfast burrito right now with some eggs and pinto beans. That would be really good. Before the Kevin O'Leary interview in 23 minutes, I got to ask Lauren if we got any burrito material. Twitter, $72. A little pricey. So Ubiquity, this I like. This has had a nice sell-off. It's at 278. It fell down below a little, sold a little bit below that 275 number. Yesterday, we fell slightly below that. Pretty close. I mean, I like it around these numbers. I really don't like it when it goes over the 350 range, but I would consider adding to Ubiquity. I might do that today. I'll talk about that in the course member live stream, which the course member live stream might get delayed a little bit because of the interview that we've got coming at 8. But that's okay. We'll do the course member live stream right afterwards. XL Fleet down at $7. Even though XL Fleet and Hyliion, I have to say, XL Fleet and Hyliion are very, very cheap. They almost look like something that it's like, oh, do you want to momentum trade this? But the problem is I don't think there's any momentum. So not excited about that. So Wynn Resorts, gosh, 127. Feels a little pricey right now too. Yelp at $40. My gosh, I remember this being at 19 at $22. That's the problem, is like memory now comes to serve you, and it's like it almost serves you ill now because you just remember times of lower prices. Look at this change over here at Voyager Digital. All of a sudden, Voyager Digital down 6% here, really leading up to nice little sell-off here intraday, leading up to the Coinbase IPO tomorrow. Very interesting. All right, so those are some of my thoughts on pricing. Sorting by the day, DocuSign, Moderna just ripping here. Tesla almost at 730. Let's go. Wow, Xpeng doing a nice move. There we go. 731. As we're saying it, we just broke 730 on Tesla. Folks, Tesla hit 750. We promised Lauren a new house. We said we get a new house if we break 750 by the end of April. And we made this deal when Tesla was 630. And we said by the end of April, Tesla's got to get back to 750. Folks, it's almost there. We are now within 4% of hitting that target for Lauren. So Lauren should be very happy today. Peloton back to 4% up. Very nice. Nice rally here. Getting even NIO's starting to rally here. Are we getting a rally in the sell-off ones too? Not quite. Voyager Digital bouncing around 24 over here. American Airlines trying to come back up. Yeah, okay, a little bit of green coming back over here. Little mix. The ones that are hurting today are hurting. But otherwise, yeah, nice moves to the upside here. Shopify, Palantir, very nice. Awesome, folks, awesome. Well, folks, I will see you all in 30 minutes. Check out the programs down below. If you want to go deep on real estate, start with Zero to Millionaire in real estate, Stocks and Psychology, Money for Stocks. Click the remind button that's going to pop up right now, folks. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon.